What's up, everyone? It's Andrew Olson, aka Barney Builder here. Today, I wanted to give you a peek into my workshop on a project that I've been working on over the past couple of months. I've always wanted to build a Barney costume, um, and just time hasn't allowed me to do that. But I found some extra time on my hands, and in my free time, this is a project that I decided to embark on. Um, One of my favorite costumes, believe it or not, was actually the original Barney suit built in 1988 for Barney and the Backyard Gang. And so that's the costume that I decided I wanted to replicate for my collection. And so this video, you're going to be seeing me assembling the base of the head. And, that original costume, the way it was built, actually, it was essentially just an aluminum frame, a custom built aluminum frame that was built with foam layered on top, and then the entire thing was spray painted. Now, I've never worked with aluminum, and I'm quite honestly, I'm kind of daunted by the material, and so I decided to use something I'm more comfortable and familiar with, and that is 3D prints. And so I had one of my buddies design a 3D model for me of the Barney head, and he broke it down into pieces that would be able to fit on my 3D printer. Now this thing was massive. It was 14 individual pieces that had to be printed out. Each piece took around, 24 to 48 hours. And, it took about a month to print this entire head out. And that's with, I have one of the largest consumer budget printers on the market. And so it's just a massive head. But I ran into a problem in that 3D prints are pretty flimsy, plastic, and if this head is to kind of hold up to wear and tear, and even hold up to the weight of the foam on top of it, it needed to be a little more durable. And so I decided I was gonna, coat the inside of the entire head with fiberglass to give it extra strength. Fiberglass is an easy material to work with. It's pretty cheap. You can get it at any hardware store. And essentially what it is, as you saw a second ago, it's these big sheets, this kind of fabric material that's made out of tiny woven pieces of glass. And, you cut those into little squares and strips, and then you use a resin that you put on the inside, and you kind of coat this glass material on the inside of the 3D print shell, and it gives it a ton of strength. Each of these pieces I coated, I think, with around 2 to 3 layers of fiberglass, just to give it, really good strength. And once all of the pieces are all coated together and strengthened, then you go ahead and sand down the edges, as you see me doing here, and connect them. This is a pretty interesting, costume building technique that I learned while searching the internet. I've never really made a costume or puppet this big before, so this will be a learning experience for me as well. But this is really, when you're sanding, when you're working with this material, it is glass, and you do not want that to get that in your lungs or in your skin at all. And so I went down and just bought a cheap long sleeve shirt at the thrift store, some pants I could throw away after I'm done with the project, some good heavy duty gloves, a good respirator, and some goggles. And make sure you're totally secure. You're not going to breathe in any of that glass. You're not going to get in your eye, on your skin. At the beginning of this project, when I started sanding, I was just wearing a short sleeve shirt, and I was itchy for days with all this glass all over me. It was terrible. So I learned my lesson. Get something that you're not going to be afraid to throw away after, doing all this. But, as you see me doing here, I'm sanding all these edges down. They need to be completely flush in order to connect them together. Now, as you see me here, this is the glass material I was telling you about. You just want to cut it into really tiny strips that are easy to work with. And I'm going to be connecting the back of the head right here. You want to get a good, strong duct tape, either duct tape or gaffer's tape, something that's stronger than your usual normal cheap duct tape, because that's really going to bind the pieces together and hold them together while the fiberglass is drying. and it'll just add extra strength to those seams where you're connecting the 3D print pieces. And when working with fiberglass, I was this is the first time I've actually ever worked with it, and I was surprised on how easy it was to work with. Literally it's just a resin and a cloth, and you just saturate that cloth and it just hardens like glass. And so it's not going to shatter. It's really strong. All in all, this head, to get to this point took probably around 2 months, just because it was so time consuming. I'd spend maybe an hour or two every night working on it, getting all those, fiberglass pieces in, and, setting the shop up. Fiberglass can get really messy. That's why you see I have aluminum foil laying out on my workbench. You don't want to get this on, a nice table or workbench, because it will really destroy it. It'll dry and it'll be hard plastic. And so, when I paint it on, as you see, by using paintbrushes, I actually just use disposable paintbrushes, because, it's kind of a one and done paintbrush. Once the resin is saturated inside it, you're probably never getting it out. And so these are just cheap paintbrushes I got at the dollar store. Don't need to get anything fancy or expensive. Just get something that works. So anyway, that's kind of a look into, the first steps of this project and building the head. The next step from here, I'm gonna move on to foaming and patterning. So I'm gonna get some 1/2-inch foam and create a pattern for the head, cut it out and glue it on. It'll kind of give a skin on top of this, and make it look all pretty, and so you don't see any of the fiberglass or plastic underneath. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm not sure when I'll get the next video out. My schedule is kind of hectic right now, so hopefully I'll have some time the next couple of weeks to work more on this project, and share the results with you. We'll talk to you next time.